I think it's fair to say that espresso is a relatively expensive hobby. I mean, there are a lot of pieces to the puzzle. But I always love to see new equipment offering the experience and the ability to make espresso at home, or really anywhere for that matter. And the KK coffee press does just that. Of course, as you can see, it's an incredibly simple piece of kit, with a tank for water, a pressure system that resembles a bike tire pump, and a 58mm group head. And this simplicity isn't lost on its designer and builder, Max, who says he wanted to create a friendly entry into real espresso. So I think that's the bar. That's what we're looking into today. Can the KK coffee press meet the generally loosely agreed upon standards of espresso? As in reaching 9 bars of pressure, some crema, and a hot, tasty little beverage. But as always, before we get into all that, I should say that Max over at KK sent me the coffee press for review and my feedback, and of course agreed to my terms of no access to the content of my draft or this video prior to full public release. But with that all out of the way, we're going to dive right into it after a quick word from this video's sponsor, Third Wave Water. When it comes to brewing the best coffee, quality ingredients matter. And purely by the numbers, water makes up to 98% of what's in your cup, and it's absolutely vital to the long-term reliability of your equipment. So after months of testing and trials, I've landed on Third Wave Water formulas for all of my coffee preparation. And not only is it formulated to not produce scale or cause corrosion, but there's also an option for every palate. Third Wave Water offers a wide variety of mineral blends specifically designed to get the most out of your favorite roast level or brew type. So take control of one of the most important variables for brewing quality coffee and head over to thirdwavewater.com/Sprometheus or use code Sprometheus at checkout to snag 10% off your first purchase. Thanks to Third Wave Water for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back into it. So usually on these types of review videos, I'll start with a quick overview of the machine, but considering just the general simplicity of the KK, we're just going to dive directly into its usability and performance. Now I think straight off the bat, it's hard to not note its small, not particularly attractive, but definitely inoffensive design. And because it only weighs a couple of pounds, it can easily be stashed away in a drawer or cabinet until you want to use it. And the design itself is also rather effective and intuitive. At least in my mind, there's really no question as to how it's used. Coffee goes there, water goes here, and pressure is made there. But let me back up just a little bit. The ground coffee itself goes into the included 58mm bottomless portafilter, so that does give you a lot of options for accessories. But when it comes to baskets, you want to lean towards the larger options, because depending on your preferred dose and the way the group is designed, the shower screen does sit pretty deeply in the basket itself, which is why a prepped espresso looks pretty underdosed at a glance. From there, brewing is as simple as utilizing the pump system to direct water into the group itself. And as simple as all that sounds, there actually is also quite a bit of nuance when brewing on the KK because of the group flow itself and the subsequent pressure created. And thankfully, despite its minimalist design, it does have a pressure gauge, which yes, it can reach and even exceed 9 bars, so we can just check that one off the list. And because you can directly control the pressure, you can do things like low pressure pre-infusion, blooming, and other modern espresso profiling approaches. But this also does require some experimentation with flow rate, because obviously, unlike a pump-driven machine, there isn't a grams per second baseline I can give you, because all that really depends on how fast you're pressing the plunger down. But keep in mind that one standard shot of espresso won't just be one full press of the pump, and because of that, you will see some pressure loss between presses, but you can slow the press down and generally get through half or so of a standard double after one pre-infusion press. But on the bright side, I have found the KK's chosen method of building pressure to be very forgiving when it comes to grind size, as it's easy to push slower to reduce the flow, and I've yet to pull a shot that I felt like I had to put a lot of muscle into to get out. And finally, speaking of the brew itself, let's talk about the experience in the cup. And over my time with the KK, I pulled shots on a variety of different coffees, ratios, and styles. And generally it's performed very well, producing properly extracted, at least 18% yields, and tasty little hot beverages coated in some nice glossy crema. So that checks off the basic espresso list. But it should be said that it's not all rainbows and sunshine, and it does suffer from a few of the common problems I've seen in most manual espresso makers. And for one, shot temps can be a bit on the lower end. Of course, preheating definitely helps, but on average, mine landed at about 120 to 130 degrees max. and you could probably eke out a few more degrees if you really power through quickly, but I didn't see the need as I didn't experience a drop in cup quality. And really, I think most KK press users would be more than happy with what they produce if they followed just the basic brewing hotter with lighter and brewing colder with darker metric. And second, the shots themselves do have a bit of a lack of mouthfeel. But again, this isn't very uncommon when it comes to manual espresso machines, so essentially par for the course. And lastly, likely partially due to the spotty flow from the shower screen and inconsistent pressure application, I did find it difficult to get smooth, clean single stream shots on the KK. Now, of course, it's hard to escape the old quirks and downsides, and even with its overall sheer simplicity, the KK can't escape. And I think its biggest one is the price point. At $200, it feels a little steep, especially up against other similar entry-level espresso units with decent controllability like the classic Flare that sits around $170. But it does come with the aforementioned 58mm portafilter and this small but rather cheap feeling scale that fits on the drip tray. And when it comes to just the general fit and finish, I feel like it could use just a bit more polish. For example, there's literally only two parts of the machine that the user interacts with, the plunger and the group, and I have complaints about both. The plunger itself seems a little wobbly and thin, and it really strikes me as a potential failure point over an extended period of time. And the portafilter lock-in, though similar to standard machines, feels difficult and awkward as it requires more muscle to push up and in, and I found it common that the removal leaves the basket stuck in the group. In the end though, like any other espresso machine, espresso maker, espresso press, or whatever other category you want to put them in, when you pair them with a proper grinder, you can get tasty espresso, and the KK is no exception. And its small but inoffensive aesthetics, simple design, and French press adjacent usability makes it a solid option for espresso drinkers and tinkerers on a budget or without a lot of space. And where it truly stands above many of the manual options I've used, it can actually do longer pulls, lungos, allonges, spro overs, and even be pivoted to brew a pour over if you feel so inclined. Of course, the longevity and repairability of the KK could be a little bit tricky considering its current one-man operation. And as always, buy at your own risk, because this review isn't me co-signing on anything, and it's a small young company, so there's plenty of potential issues with that as well. But on that note, I think it's time to start wrapping this one up, and as always, pass the conversation on to you. So what are your thoughts on the KK, and what are your thoughts on manual espresso being a means to getting into it or learning more about it? Drop your answers to those questions and any others you may have in the comment section down below. And of course, I'll see y'all at some point in June with a full channel refresh, so until then. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that little bell button for notifications when new videos drop. Check out my Instagram at Sprometheus for more coffee content. Help support the channel by considering becoming a member for unique exclusive perks. And as always, stay caffeinated. Pony Boy